Hi, everybody. I'm Lauren Cohen.
Hello.
Hi, with Investing Cross Borders, and I'm here with my friend, buddy, fellow Zionist, Arez Havroni, who is from Israel, as you will soon hear. Although he is, where are you currently living? I don't even know. Where are you?
Right now in Miami. I'm in Miami.
Miami, that's what I
Miami,
thought.
Florida.
In Miami, not Miami, Miami, because that's how
Miami,
Israelis
Miami.
say it. Miami, just like my name is Lauren. So Arez and I have been connected for, it's got to be at least 15 or so years,
50
right?
years, I would say.
Yeah,
Yes,
and we
exactly.
met originally through the venture capital world and
Yes.
kept in touch and always interested in real estate. And
Mhm.
interestingly enough, Erez is representing a very cool pre-construction project in Israel that is called the Canada. What is it? Canada what?
Canada, Israel. Canada,
I
Israel.
mean,
Mm.
what better? Like Canada,
Yeah,
Israel. It's like,
exactly.
So
Canada,
and as
Israel,
you can
Israel,
see,
Canada. Yeah, and a lot of other good projects in Israel. And I think it was very interesting for us to talk about why should like a Canadian think about buying a home in Israel.
not just
And
Canadians, but Americans too, and everybody, because the reality is, at the end of the day, we should all be, at least the Jews, all of us should be in Israel, making Aliyah. For Erez, it's returning home. For all of us, it really
Mhm.
is. But I will definitely make Aliyah one day, as whether my son likes it or not, I'll be there. So why don't you tell us a little about this project and why it's such a great opportunity?
Excellent.
You
So
want me
first I
to
will
share the
start.
slides, sir, or what? Yeah,
Yeah, no. First I will kind of like introduce myself so audience can know
absolutely.
who I am. So I lived in the U.S. for the last 20 years, and I'm coming from. I'm originally from Israel, actually from the north part of Israel. Service as well in the Israeli military, and moved 20 years ago to the U.S. And I'm very active here in the venture capital community as well in the investment in the alternative investments world. My background, I'm coming from the banking industry. I worked for many years for Merrill Lynch, then a lot of many years too in Wells Fargo, more in the ultra high net worth private banking. Manage a lot of relationship with family offices and wealthy families. And we're always looking at the assets of real estate as a very core business, if it's in the US or it's in other countries where clients feel comfortable with. And real estate is always a good asset. And I think today conversation we can talk about why should people think and consider Israel. So first is if you're Jewish and you are Israeli or not, and you have an attachment, emotional attachment to Israel. I think it's very important to have this connection, especially if you have few kids and 4 kids and 5 kids, even if you have 1 kid and you want to go to Israel and you want to connect them to the country, it's a very great bridge to have because at the end of the day, you will have a place to go, a place to visit. Maybe one of your kids will want to go to college or in Israel. Maybe we'll go to the army. Wants to experience what is it to live in Israel, and what's better than that? That maybe to live in the most exciting city, Tel Aviv, with all the fun stuff, with the beach, with the car, with the great food and everything there. And on the other side is we have Jerusalem, we have the north part, and there's a lot of questions. Where should I buy property in Israel? What's the prices that's out there in Israel? And what's the good way actually to buy properties in Israel? Is it on a pre-sale? Is it like buy it right away? And what's the benefit as well for foreign investors when they buy properties in Israel? So I work with a few large companies in Israel that are developers and not developers, and I want to like provide kind of like the a risk assessment, like what should we do, what should we think about, why should we buy in Israel? We just needs to go and just do an Airbnb in Israel, or what's the benefit actually to own a property in Israel during this time? So that's kind of
And
like an overview.
Airbnbs are in huge demand. I have a dear friend that is a realtor in Modi'in, and their Airbnb is so busy they can't even put me in there. So Yeah.
Exactly. So what we see is such a big trend right now of, especially after October 7th, of a lot of Jews and Israelis from all over the world. I see people from Europe, and I see people from South Africa, and I see people from the US and from Canada that basically want to buy now real estate in Israel. And the reason is because we all know that we are in a very, very special time, and strengthening the country that we really love is, or we invest in high tech, like I do some very interesting companies in cyber, in ag tech, in food tech. And we all know about the innovations happening in Israel. There's a lot of, there's a
Well,
lot.
I don't know if we do all know, but Israel is known as the startup capital of the world. There are so many companies that came from there, but I don't think that my whole following knows how incredible it is. And really, it's because if you've ever, did you ever read Shimon Peres's book about being pioneers? Because we are pioneers, and even here in Florida, we're pioneers. We're always building, we're always creating, we're always finding solutions. So I'll just add that for flavor for those of you that don't know.
Exactly. So it's basically Israel got a very strong economic fundamentals, and it starts from being the innovation powerhouse. And Israel is really known as the startup nation, with the highest number of startups per capita, per capita globally. Yeah, and this is something that people need to know as well. The high tech ecosystem right now, it's home over for 6,000 tech companies. All right, and R&D centers for Google, for Intel, for Microsoft, for OpenAI, for Meta. Everyone is moving to Israel to basically open their R&D centers because of the amazing brains that's coming from the army, from 8200, from other places, and that's maybe a good information to know. And also, despite of everything that's happening in Israel, basically there's a very good economic stability when it's come to, despite regional tension in Israel economy. It's
See,
shown.
it's like it just goes to show you it's an oxymoron. Israel is truly an oxymoron because you're right. It doesn't matter what the heck is going on. We are always thriving. Thank God.
Exactly, and with everything that's happening, real estate is going up, and especially in centers like Jerusalem and Tel Aviv and Haifa, and in the north part, it's always going up. It's because there's not too much in Israel, all right, and there's not too much spaces to build there. So right now, there's two versions happening in Israel, or they take like old building in Israel, and there's something that's called Tama 38, and they renovate this building and then they sell you new apartments, or you basically going to buy new construction. And the beauty of it, and I'm investing in Israeli real estate for a long time, just because of good connection that I have with some CEOs in really large public companies that I know, and they basically, there's a very, 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 very good opportunity because you buy new constructions. You basically, after all the approvals level that's happening in Israel, actually it takes longer than in the US and Canada to approve the land for build out. So you coming in after all the land is approved, and then you start buying in the very good centers, Tel Aviv, Rishon LeZion, Tel Aviv, and areas where there's a good condense of people that basically coming from the high tech population, and as well where people wants to like travel. So there's an opportunity right now in Israel to buy in areas like in Jerusalem. There's like a big project called Midtown Jerusalem. It's like in the center of Jerusalem, super high luxury. It looks like the building is made in Miami and brought it directly to Israel. Uh, Super high facilities.
Can I interrupt you for 1 second? It was funny because the other day I saw a promotion for a building in Miami, and it said it's just like Tel Aviv, and I was like, that is just so funny. It's like the other way. It's just like Tel Aviv living, and I'm like, oh my goodness, it's like it goes both ways now.
Exactly. Yeah. So Tel Aviv became to be like a really epic centers for people for traveling, for high tech people, for the largest high tech conferences in cybers, in ag tech, in food tech, in pharma, basically happening in Israel. And what the Israeli realize is that if they will get a really nice apartment in a really cool building with amenities that looks like Miami, or San Francisco, people will want to come and stay. And Airbnb is something that it's really, really growing in Israel. So a cool way to do it is basically buy an apartment in a good building where there's good amenities, and then coming and visiting Israel anytime you want to. And then when you are not there, you basically put on the plug, and then right now you can start renting it as an Airbnb, and you basically have a nice cash flow as well on the real estate side. You maybe even buy it on pre-sale, so you buy it very cheap. You put only 20% down, and you wait until the project is there, and then you can get as well some financing options in the Bank of Israel. And for example, with Canadian investors, there's the tax treaty that's happening with Israel is basically it's beneficial for example, Canadian investors to do business
Not
in Israel.
only that, Arez, but I have access, and you should learn about these options, to two options: one for Canadians and one for Americans, to access equity in their principal residence or in their investment, for example, in the U.S. and Canada, without impacting their bottom line and without it costing anything out of pocket. And then they can use that money to make this investment. And for the new construction, the pre-construction, like the Canada-Israel project, what is the average price point, and what does the down payment look like there?
So that's a good question, because there's all different type of projects that we see in Israel, right? You can go and before we going in there, there's a very good things to tell the audience here is that basically you want to buy from actually the builder, all right? Because there's a lot of companies out in Israel that basically they can look like they are the builder, but they're not the builders. They are the marketing people who raise capital for the project. And I will not invest like that. Okay, I rather invest with companies that actually doing the building. Okay, they are the builder themselves. They managing the process. They do the construction themselves. They have high end. They have track history of delivery on time of projects. The standards of building is up to par. The finishes are up to par, because there's a lot of good stories of other people who basically wanted to buy real estate in Israel, and they bought from the wrong players in Israel. And as we know here as well in the US, we want to buy from people that basically doing the work, they buy the land in good pricing, they manage the process well, they know how to work with the cities, they know how to work with the government, they know how to manage the process from A to Z up to the point where you get the key. And as well, it's good to work with companies that are actually public in Israel, because then they are supervised. Okay, they're supervised. They have to provide audits to the public markets in Israel, so everything is supervised. And we see a lot of other places that don't do that, and then we heard a lot of not fun stories. So that's something as well to talk to investors about what you should do and what you should not do. Now, there's a lot of ranges of pricing. Okay, so you can go up to the super luxury. All right, for companies like Israel, Canada, basically have the pricing start there from around $4.5 million for an apartment up to 20 million shekels. Okay, to companies like Amram Avram, for example, that have you can buy a nice apartment for 3-4 bedrooms for 2 million shekels, 3 million shekels.
Okay,
right?
so you said $4 million before, but that was actually 4 million
I'm saying it's
shekels,
4
right?
million shekels, exactly. 4
Right.
million
So
shekels.
which is basically 4 to 1. So it's
Exactly.
about $1 million, give or take.
Exactly. So it all depends the level of luxury that you want your apartment to be, okay, and the size of the apartment that you want to have. And if you're a family of 2, 3, 4 kids, you definitely don't want to buy 2 bedrooms, all right? Because in Israel, when we say 2 bedrooms, it's basically 1 bedroom, okay? So that's something also that we can talk about, the difference between real estate in the US or real estate in Canada to Israeli view real estate, okay? So 1 bedroom, for example, will be actual studio bedroom, okay? If you say 2 bedroom, it's actually going to be 1 bedroom, like we think in the U.S. So, and over there you have to, take the square foot into meters, which is another thing. So I saw, apartment that basically start from 4 million shekels, which is close to like almost $1 million, to get a 50 meters apartment, which is a very very small apartment for 2 3 people. Okay, so you want to make sure what's your needs and where you want to live, and if you want to move to Israel in the next few years, then you really want to consider a bigger apartment, the environment, the schools, and everything around that. Or if you want to do something that's be more for Airbnb, there's definitely designated things like that. So for the audience, I think there's a lot of very good opportunity right now to buy in Israel, especially on the pre-sale side, and buy 1 or 2 apartments, getting to the finish line, getting them furnished by the company, and then put them on Airbnb or using them as their main apartments. Um, that's a little bit on that side. And if the audience wants to get some information and insight, I'm basically can help them to make good decision to really figure out what's their needs and where to position with them with the right companies in Israel that are like the highest standard when it's come to real estate.
So listen, we have 10 minutes left. Do you want to share the slides or do you just want to share details off the cuff? It's up to you. Would you like, I can put this on. So, I know why Canadian investors or any investor should invest in Israel. It's not just Canadians, but let's see. Go ahead, please,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah, so we spoke about a little bit why the strong economic fundamentals as we spoke before. The global tech hub with a strong R&D presence, and it's interesting to go in Tel Aviv because there's a lot of English around you. Okay, everybody's speaking English. You see people that's coming constantly doing business in Israel. And you see people that basically coming to do R&D in Israel. So there's a very good resilient economy is even with what's happening in the market. It's also a booming real estate market. It's prices rose to like 7.8% year in 2024. High demand in cities like Haifa, Tel Aviv, Jerusalem. Attractive rental yields driven by immigration and tech expansions.
So let me interrupt you again because it's
Uh-huh.
very interesting. It's not just a Canadian thing; it's an American thing. It's a worldwide thing. Immigration to Israel, that is people making aliyah, which is returning, is higher than ever, which is just a testament to all of the amazing things that are going on in the country, despite the crazy war that's happening. So it's
Exactly.
very
There's like a whole community that basically moving together now into Israel, and we already know about what's happening with the French Jewish people. They basically slowly immigrating all of them back to Israel because of anti-Semitic issues.
there's two immigration trends, right? One is here to South Florida. So if you can't go
Yes,
to Israel and you want to stay in the Eastern time zone or in North America, South Florida is the first place to migrate. And then,
exactly.
or the second, because they should always prefer Israel, but it's not always feasible for whatever reasons. So this is the second aliyah. We call it the second aliyah to Florida, but the first priority
Exactly.
is always going to be going to Israel.
It's interesting. Yesterday, I had a very, very good conversation with one of the CEO that I advised for, and his daughter went to Columbia University for the last 3 years, and she went through not easy journey there, yeah. And she's a very, very successful student there, and now they're going back to Israel. And the CEO said, you know what? I never felt such a comfortable way of like working in Miami because he came here to meet some investors. He said Miami feels like home. Miami feels like Israel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
South
vice
Florida
versa.
is very easy. It's an easy place, and I was just interviewing my people at my synagogue, my retreat center, my learning place this morning, just about exactly that. So anyway, but so you want me to go to the are there other slides? Yes. Do you want me
Yeah,
to go
yeah.
to the
So,
next
so
one?
I think well, one of the things also is that there's an increasing direct flights and trade access to Israel. Bridges between Europe and Asia and Africa to Israel. A lot of free trade agreements with Canada, U.S. and the EU. That's all provide some good update there. Favorable investment environment. The OECD standards for investor protection, transparent property rights and legal framework. Really, the high ease of doing business ranking today in Israel is very, very important. And as well, if we're talking about Canada, Israel tax treaty, kind of like avoid double taxation. That's another thing that sometimes investors looking reduce capital gains taxes with structured deals. Getting financing in Israel is also a thing. And kind of like the culture, the community alignment is like strong Israeli and Jewish presence in Canada. If that basically can transfer in, and the culture, trust, and familiarity with Israel, and as well the emotional connection and the economic
So it's
alignment.
very emotional. But Canadians tend to be very connected to Israel, Canadian Jews. And yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm sorry
and
to rush you through this, but I have another appointment. So if we could summarize this in the next few minutes and just really share the key top level information, if you would be so kind.
yeah, so the key top information for the deals are, there's multiple good deals right now that we need to show investors that we can showcase. And if it all depends on the budget of the investors. If investors wants to buy more than one or two properties in Israel, and they don't want it, and it all depends about if they want to go super luxury, there's super luxury. If they want to go larger apartment, but to cost less, there's things like that. So I think it all depends on the investors and what they're looking to accomplish with their investments. If someone just want to buy something to hold for their family, then there's one approach. If they want to buy something for renting, that's the other approach. So right now, I'm looking, for example, on Jerusalem Midtown project is for more people who wants to be close to Jerusalem, and they are more religious, and they want synagogue under their building, and they want to be accessible to the hotel and to other places, and they want to be in the center of the place. Project called Midtown Jerusalem. This is super luxury and all of that. As well, there's another project called Rainbow Tel Aviv, which is super fancy residential luxury building. As well, start from $4 million and up. It depends on how many bedrooms you're looking
That's
for.
4 million shekels, right? Or $4 million.
4 million shekels, exactly. Start from 4 million shekels for one bedroom, and going up.
Big difference between
And
$1 million and 4 million shekels.
exactly,
Arez,
4 million.
I'm so sorry. I don't mean to rush you, but if we could, I do have another. So if we could just sum it up, maybe I think the best thing is for them to reach you directly and speak with you, and you can then share options. So how do they reach you?
They can reach me. They can reach. Maybe I can put it here on the chat here.
It won't matter. It doesn't go into the chat on Facebook. Just if you could just spell it out, and then I'll make sure that my team gets it on underneath, please.
Sure. So they can reach me out at arez@ecom, and I can share it with you, Lauren. After that, my email and my information and my phone number,
Sure.
and then people can DM me, direct message me and ask questions, and we can do that. And as well, we can come as well to do a full presentation around September. We will come with a few CEOs from Israel to just basically position a few opportunities for investors that are based in the US. If in Canada there's to come to, we are willing to do that as well. So we're looking forward to really provide for you some good advice about how to do it right in Israel. And the message that I have at the end of the day is to trust who you're working with, and to really identify the right partners. Not all the partners in Israel that do real estate are,
No, that is very,
straightforward.
very true. You must be very
And
careful.
yeah,
Absolutely.
you want to be very careful, and that's why I do a lot of due diligence for the last few years with who to work. I actually saw a lot of the properties how they finished, and sometimes people can tell you, right, we want, they promise you a lot of things, but you want to see the final product and how you get it at the end of the day. So that's what we did. We did a lot of due diligence who are actually performing well and who are actually building in masses, right, in Israel. So they have the capacity to accomplish projects on time. So if anyone have an interest in that, I would love to help him and get him to the right project.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure,
Thank
as
you so much.
always, to see you, to connect with you, and thank you for sharing my favorite country, my homeland, our homeland, Israel, and the opportunities there. The numbers are staggering when you think about opportunity to actually make a lot of money, especially in the pre-construction side, because you're getting in for a small percentage, and you get access to a property in Israel that you can either live in or you can rent. And it's just really great. So thank you so much, Arez, and I will look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Thank
And
you so
if you
much.
want to learn about investing in Israel, Arez is the guy to speak with. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.